Hey y'all, I'm live. Let me try and get this here phone set up right. Here's my old cool hat and shirt. I'm gonna wait and give people a chance to get in here. So, according to my clock, it's 9:04, so I said 9 to 9:15. Yo, you're the first. All right. Well, we had, I guess it was a tie for two first. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Y'all got to know something because my internet service, something went wrong with it like 5 minutes ago out of all times to go wrong, and it won't load up, and I ain't got time to troubleshoot before I talk to y'all. So, that being said, I can't, that teeny tiny writing at this distance, I can't see it. So, but anyway, hello to everybody. I'll try and get in there close enough I can see some names and stuff. Let's see. Uh, First, awesome. That's awesome rocks. I can't see the names though, but I'll get that shortly, I'm sure. Chief, hey. Howdy, y'all. I've been here. Yep, I've been here, been there, been everywhere. Yeah, I'm just trying to give people just a little bit longer to get in. I'll give us about one more minute. Chief, do you like barbecues? I love food. If you ain't guess I love food, you're going to have to go back and repeat the entire 12 years of school. Yeah, yeah. Laugh out loud. That's right. Mac is back. Somebody else said hello, Chief. So we're down to about 40 seconds. I'm going to start talking, but I will save this. Said I love food too. I will post it or upload it, whatever you call it. So if you don't see it now, you see it later or send it to a friend if you like it. Okay? I'm trying to get as many people on from the beginning as I can. That way, hopefully, they won't ask a lot of questions and say, what did I miss? What did I miss? And then I can really say, hey, I gave you 3 minutes to get on there. Glad to see you too. All right. You used my nickname. I did or somebody else did? I'm confused. Text me another message and say if I used your nickname or somebody else did. Ding, da ding, da ding, da ding, da ding, da ding. Okay, well, we're 3 minutes into it, so I ain't going to wait no longer. Hey Chief, where has Patrick been? I haven't seen him on YouTube. Well, he did post something once or twice, but this is the BUT. He needs his nickname. He said you need his nickname. Okay, thanks, Brother Steve over at P&P News. Spencer Kelly, I see you. Great, great, great. This is wonderful. Greetings from the Eye of Dubai. Hello, Dubai. Hey, Damon, a bunch of hearts. I can't read all that right now, but y'all feel free to converse with each other, and I will try and jump in there if I see a question. Says Patrick's been working, been busy. That is true. He had a full-time job way back at I guess Christmas time, right to the first of the year, and he had been slammed and jammed, so he was having to work audits and stuff in when he could. And I talked to him a couple times. Boomer! Every time I see that, I want to go, Boomer! Okay. Hi, Chief. Hi, y'all. Anyway, I want to talk about SDF and OCT. SDF is Self-Defense Fund. Selfdefensefund.com and selfdefensefund.com up here. Now, I probably ought to wait till my computer gets straight. Now, if you go there to selfdefense.com, you can put in my promo code Chief. Yo, Chief, you put in my promo code Chief. That way I get credit. Why do I need credit? because they'll help pay for gas or other things for me to travel around and do what I do for all of y'all. So therefore, I'll still have my PayPal up because you never know when you need it or who might be willing to give something. Maybe it's keeping me from sending camera audits. I don't know. Huh. Mac is back. I don't know. That's honest. I don't know. But anyway, if you go there and do selfdefensefund.com, I'm going to just tell you real quick. This is not like some big commercial or nothing. This is just something I believe in. And if y'all watched Almost Park, Texas, aka Almost Gone, Texas, and the tyrant chief of police and police department, the way they treated him, a lawful man in lawful activity, if he had not have had self-defense fund, selfdefensefund.com, if he hadn't had it, he may, I'm not saying he would, but I believe there's an excellent chance he could be in jail or in prison. But here's what happened. Our national director, and I'm having a brain fart and I can't think of his name right this second. It's just, I don't know. Excuse me. I'll try and put it in my link below, put his name and information, but he has assembled the best self-defense fund team you could ever imagine. I did 40 years in uniform. Let me tell you what. Those, what he refers to as junkyard dog attorneys, trial attorneys. Trial attorneys are completely, totally different than plea bargain attorneys. Plea bargain attorneys are like here, up at the very, very top, like maybe 10% or less. Those are the trial attorneys. Those are the ones that when they walk into the DA or state attorney's office or prosecutor's office and say, look, that's our guy, and he's got an unlimited cap on attorney's expenses. And not only are we going to go to court and prove he's right, if you don't drop this, we're going to appeal it. And if you're running for election, you're running for re-election or reappointment, just do stupid stuff like this and fight with us and see how you look on the TV news at night. Look how you see in the newspapers. They go down there and tell them how it is. They tell them how the cow eats the cabbage. That's why I belong. Okay? But every single time you join, okay, then they give me credit. And every month or 2 or 3 or whatever, that adds up to enough for some tanks of gas, maybe a sponsor on my show. And I've been talking to people at Wicked Development Radio Network, RD, Wicked Development Radio, RN. Anyway, hey there, Northern Idaho. I know that guy. We chat. Hello. Anyway, C.J. Grisham, he had them. And today, he's walking free, and I believe the police screwed up, messed up, so that's a big part of it. But the other big part is he had self-defense fund behind him. Okay? I believe in that. So that's any state, anytime, anywhere, any weapon. So if you have a pea shooter, you have a slingshot, a rock, you have anything, and believe me, I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere in some jurisdiction or a neighboring jurisdiction when somebody broke into somebody's house. Now listen to me, broke in somebody's house, or I've read it, I'm aware of it. They broke in somebody's house in the middle of the night, okay, middle of the night, with a family, and the mama, daddy, or visitor, one of the kids, shot the intruder and they died. Guess what? They got civilly charged. In other words, the other family filed civil charges against them to try and get money out of them. Okay, they could win, but they could spend everything they have trying to defend themselves against it for their good name and reputation. Okay, the police, the prosecutors for the state, they got basically unlimited funds. It don't matter if it takes $1 million or $3 million to prosecute your case and retry you. Okay, so the only thing that's going to keep them off of your ass, and I said ass, your entire body, hi, glad to see you too, is when the attorneys go in and you're with self-defense fund, they're going to say, wait a minute, This is a national organization. They got, like platinum plus credit, so to speak, and they don't have no complaints against them. They ain't got nothing going on. These are good guys, and they got high, top shelf, high end attorneys that are on the top of the top, that don't play games, that ain't about this and that. They're about making sure your constitutional right is protected to carry that gun with you. Okay, but if you use a brick, a bat, a spear gun, it doesn't matter. Any weapon, anytime, any place, any tool you convert to a weapon to protect you. See what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Okay, so here's the deal. I also belong to OCT, which is Open Carry Texas. Now, that's a thing for Texas. So, my Texas peoples, my Texas homies, please join. I think it's like $2.35. It's just some little pittance. But, let's just say if we could get 500,000 people in there, that's over $1 million a month budget. They can go to the legislature and shake things up and get us to be in Texas just like in Arizona. You can carry a gun on your hip anywhere, anytime. There ain't no license. The Constitution is your license, okay? OCT is fighting for that, okay? So me and C.J. Grisham, we both belong to Self-Defense Fund. Hey, brother. Hey, y'all. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this. Okay? Anyway, we both belong to this. So I support Open Carry Texas. So I was saying I support Open Carry Texas, and I'm asking y'all, join. Do this monthly thing where it's $2.30 or $2.50, whatever it is. Okay? It helps promote for a lobbyist for us, the people, to carry guns anywhere, anytime in Texas. And it helps get all the gun laws straight for Texas. And this self-defense, let me tell you what. Let me say this, and I ain't going to go too deep in it, but let's just say if a police officer was off his rocker, okay, and you had to use lethal force by some means to protect yourself against him, whether he was on duty or off duty, guess what? There's a 99.9% chance your tail end is going to jail. Okay? I'm just being straight with you, okay? You're going to go to jail. That's the end of the conversation. You're going. So, if you belong to self-defense, they're going to take care of your bail bond. Hello! They're going to take care of expert witnesses, investigators. They're going to tear it up. And I believe, this is my personal belief. I believe you got a 95% chance of coming out, maybe the case being dismissed right off the top. And if you go, they're going to win it. And if they don't, they're going to appeal it. I mean, come on. That's a no-brainer. Now, to my next thing. I have a window open in 72 hours from now to travel through East Texas, North Texas, a little bit of Central Texas, and a great deal in Northeast Texas in a certain radius, probably about a 60 or 80 mile radius here and there and everywhere. If y'all don't have to, but if you want to pay to my PayPal account, okay, I got to get my computer online here again to get all my links up there. So if you're watching this now, you may have to come back tonight or tomorrow to see all my links to click to go to where you want to go. But you can go to Daymond, Daymond 4040, Daymond4040 at yahoo.com, and help me out with PayPal there. I'm going to put a PayPal link in there where you can PayPal me. Okay, and I'm going to put a self-defense fund thing in there. I'm going to put a deal in there for Meet the Chief where you can see more of my background and hear more about me, yada, yada, yada. So, anyway, there'll be several links in there. Like I say, it may be tomorrow, could even be. XES say, hey, brother. XDSA, my homeboy. Anyway, yeah, that's me. That's yep. Anyway, I got this window open. I got some funds, but you know, I'm on a limited fixed monthly situation here with funds. And it's kind of low. I talked my wife into uh, let me use some of it, but you know, we have to have a little cushion to live life. It's just the way it is. Gas costs money, hotels cost money, and food costs money, and my family would be traveling with me, so that's 3 mouths to feed, you know, a motel room every night. But I promise to do some good auditing for you. And then if there's somebody in Northeast Texas that can hook up with me, that's still open. Okay, I might go to Dallas and do something with Patrick. Maybe. I don't know yet. I just have to get up with him and see if he's going to be available. Uh, might get up with James Freeman. Don't know. Uh, so I might get up with either one of them in the Dallas area. Uh, there's people around Longview, Tyler, some other places that I might can get up with too. Or if you can email me, that's the same email, Daymond4040yahoo.com. Email me and say, hey, I'm a new auditor and upcoming. I'd like to meet with you. Then we can talk and see if we can work something out. If you're willing to travel from, say, if I am in the north or northeast part of Texas, it might be a 2-hour drive out of Dallas. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and you're willing to drive out there and meet me and let us work together on some audits, I can take you on and we can work together. I can help you and you can help me and we can help the people, okay? Some people's got it in their brains, okay? And these are college educated. And he took care of his family till he died, and he was up in his 80s. Never had a day of school. His brother was the same way. Okay. In fact, his brother was the elected constable in one of the counties in Northeast Texas in the 70s and 80s. In fact, I worked for him. Uh, I didn't take no paycheck. I just volunteered as a fully certified non-paid officer to help out as much as I could. But anyway, I digress. Back to the point. I'm available to do this in 72 hours. But I got to get some more funds to go with my funds. And the trolls and the haters come, I ain't begging for money again. Nope. If you go buy a newspaper at the newsstand, whether it's 25 cents or $1, you're going to pay something for that paper. So a whole bunch of people come there and buy it, and then people run ads and all this stuff to get the paper to you, okay? You may say, well, I get stuff for free on the internet. Really? Well, the wife figured you're either paying a monthly bill for your cell phone to get that so-called free thing, so you had to pay for your phone or you got to pay for the internet. Okay, TV. Well, I watch TV for free. Okay, well, they're running commercials on there. Somebody's paying the bill for everything you so-called get free. And how, you know, there are a few free things in life that might be worthwhile, but there's usually a string attached somewhere down the line. Now, another thing is, I'm really considering either putting something on the end like where it says Damon Chief Jones, and I thought I'd put about Damon Chief Jones News, or Damon Chief Jones Monologue Dialogue, or Critical News. I've come up with a lot of different things, but anyway, if you put down on the chat, or if you see it tomorrow, the next day, or next week, you put down something that you think I should put after my name or instead of my name that might be a little more all-inclusive of constitutional audits, trying to teach people the common law, to teach people how to deal with the, let's see, Dick and Roscoe show. This is 5. Hey, howdy, 5. I know 5. 5's a excellent guy. Of course, I got to meet this other guy named Mouse. Mouse and S5. Those are good guys. So we're working on getting me over at Wicked Radio Development Network, and we're working on getting me a call-in show so I can be on the internet and be on the radio. I could be on a local terrestrial radio plus on the internet, or one or the other, or both. And we're trying to work that out. So in the next maybe week or two, next month or two, the main hammer knocker, getting all the things together, then I can be on the internet and do a call-in show, kind of like my buddy does. What's his name from up there in New Jersey? What's the guy in New Jersey? What's his name? I'm drawing a blank again. Shoot, what is that cat's name? You know, the guy, the Falcon guy. Walk! Y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it where y'all don't have to type in, but you can. I'm trying to get it like my buddy, Black Label Cop Watch. Thank you, Boomer. Boomer! Okay, so here's the deal. I'm trying to get it where y'all can chat, so I can see what you're chatting, I can talk to you, but then I can also take phone calls and talk to people. And if y'all want me to ask the man or woman a question, then bam, I can see it come up on here, and I can say, well, somebody wants to know how old you are or where you're going, yada, yada, yada. So we can converse back and forth. So it's all good. It's a good deal. So we can communicate in real time. We can hear your voice, and I'll give you a voice, and I'll give you some credibility, because here's what they told us at the police academy, and here's what judges have told me and prosecutors have told me. If you get arrested and you wind up not plea bargaining, which I wouldn't do anyway unless you just have no way out, that's because they're used to that, and that's what they like to do with 90% of the people. But anyway, I don't think I'd plea bargain. But anyway, let's just say you would ask me some questions about the enforcement of law and who we might arrest and why not, and could you do something? Well, based on my training, my experience, I tell you what I have learned, what I have been trained, what the prosecutors in the state has told me. If you rely upon what I have told you, I've told you in good faith, and you went forward in good faith. That's not this thing where ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's not that. This is called a misinterpretation of the law. And there's a lot of room for misinterpretation of the law, because that's what happens when police arrest you. A lot of times when you're in a lawful activity, they mistakenly think that you have violated a law when in fact you haven't, because they had a teacher across in the academy that said blase blase about it and didn't go into the actual law. So you heard something and you never actually went and looked, or it was taught to you different than it's wrote. So it's a big difference. So I try and teach people, because honestly, let's say if you, let's just say you went to court and you subpoenaed me, okay? And, you're indigent. The state may very well have to pay to fly me somewhere. And I'll go. And they say, well, Chief Jones said these following things. Or he typed them out on his web channel. Blase, blase. Yeah, you're right, Steve. Some are buttholes. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. There's some more really good stuff I'm going to speak to that, okay? That I think you'll like and everybody else will like. Really? Okay, man, I get it. Okay? But anyway, if I go there and I say, yes, I said that, and they say, where did you learn that? I can go back and say, this is when I learned it, this is how I learned it, and this is what I believe is true. This is how I act. This is how everybody's acted for the last 40 years of my career. This is what I believe is right. I believe it's just. I believe it's right. So if I had have seen this man or woman do this thing, I'd have said, how you doing? There would be no arrest. I think it's a bogus arrest. Well, based on their belief that it was right, they had no criminal intent, based on my understanding, the way it's being explained to me by attorneys and judges, okay? And based on me believing it and telling it, then they have a good faith defense. Well, Chief Jones said it. You know, it's in writing. Or you can go back and listen to show number so and so, and it tells you on there that he said this was okay and this is why. Okay? So a mistake of the law is not an ignorance of the law. Okay? Now every time the damn legislature, whether it's a state or the national legislature, goes into session, they say every man. They used to say every man's uh, uh, life and their liberty is at jeopardy because they can just pass laws and say, hey, uh, yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying, you can use me as a defense because in my 40 years, if I can't figure out what's lawful and not lawful, how's some guy that's got 5 or 10 years gonna know it? You see what I'm saying? So you can use me maybe as a character reference, depending on some relationship we have. You can use, I'm not giving anybody legal advice. I'm giving enforcement and the way the law has been interpreted to me by judges, attorneys, and prosecutors. And I have lived this in 5 different states to an extreme, going to court, civil cases, criminal cases, and these are things I've learned, so I'm passing on my knowledge. That's part of my ministry. As a minister, I have to pass on my knowledge. It's required of me by God to pass it on and share it. Okay? It makes the road smoother for you. See, the people that was here before me, they played the way for me. The military that fought the Revolutionary War, the war between the states, northern aggression, yada, 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 all this stuff, they paved the way for our freedom, okay? And they taught people and they did the best they could, okay? They paid it forward. Now it's my turn. I'm paying it forward. And then you pay it forward, okay? So I'm saying you don't have to support me. You don't have to drop no money in my PayPal, but if you do, and I get enough funds in that 72-hour window, say probably Tuesday by midday, I'll be on the road to all Northeast Texas and Central Texas doing various audits. And I can stay for 1 week doing all these various audits. So I should be able to get in a lot of audits. And I think they'll be good. I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm more practiced. Okay? So I'm going to give y'all some good things, and I'm going to take about 2 weeks to think about this, okay? But if you give the most questions, and they're legitimate questions, about self-defense fund and or the laws in the United States about handguns, the Constitution, you make comments, the person that appears to be the most legitimate, most serious person about constitutional rights for weapons and what does self-defense fund do, where it goes back to self-defense fund, what I'm a part of, I will make arrangements with the marketing director for self-defense fund, Andy Valadez, at Houston. I will pay for 3 months for an individual man or woman or a husband and wife or a family to belong to SDF, Self-Defense Fund. I'll pay for 3 months. I'll pick, it's up to me, okay? You know, there ain't no, well, you didn't pick me, Chief, you should have picked me. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to pray about it, I'm going to look over it. I probably asked Andy Valadez for his opinion. I may ask the national director because I'm trying to promote this to help you. It is on the cheap. It's way cheaper than a lot of protection plans, and it does way more, way cheaper. You know, it's kind of like, how do they afford the buffet? Because mass numbers make up the difference. So they can have a few people in charge of a pile or a lot of people in charge of little. See what I'm saying? So the national director has made the decision to keep it on the cheap. It's not free, but it's way less expensive. So I'm going to pay for 3 months, and I will come back on here and I will announce who the winner of that is. Okay? And I have to give them an email and get their information and forward it to the marketing director, and I'll pay for 3 months out of my pocket because I can pay 1 month at a time and I can afford to do that over 3 months. I just can't get up funds all at one time. You know, I've made 2 or 3 trips to Texas trying to do audits, and one time I got sick as a dog. But, you know, I got my colloidal silver, I got my vitamin C, I got everything I need, and I'm pumped up to the max. I had a full drug screen, not drug screen, whatever you call it, where they check all your stuff out in your body, and everything's in the right place. Anything that I was deficient on, like a little bit of B vitamin, a little bit of iron, I've upped that up, and now I'm ready to rock and roll. So that could have been some of my sickness. But anyway, I just want you to know that some cops, some I've known for years, and they know my heart. They know my mind. They know my spirit. And some of them have said, "Why have you turned anti-cop?" Some of them I said, "Look, you've known me 20 years or 25 years or 30 years. Why? If you just met me a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago when you said I'm anti-cop, I could get it." What silver did I use? I used colloidal silver. It's 10 parts per million, 150 parts, 150 parts per million, and it's 10 on the scale. I've got to think back. Anyway, that's what I use. And I got a generator. I got my own generator. I'll do another contest and send somebody an entire gallon at 5.2 to 5.8 off of my own personal generator. I will mail you a gallon of colloidal silver, and it'll cost me 30 or 35 bucks in the continental United States. I ain't going to Alaska and Hawaii, can't afford it. But I'll come up with a contest for that too. But I'm going to do some kind of contest where I can give you a gallon for free. And I think the way they charge for things for 4 ounces, 6 ounces, or 8 ounces at a health food store, I'm pretty sure you'd be getting about a $200, $300 value for free for winning a contest. So I'm doing my self-defense fund contest now. I'll be doing a colloidal silver contest, and then I'll do some kind of contest for Open Carry Texas, which is just going to be for people in Texas. I mean, you can be anywhere in the United States and support it, but, you know, to really reap the benefits, you need to be within the boundaries of the Texas State Republic to enjoy the benefits through legislation and helping get people in office. But anyway, I'm going to occasionally have some contests where I can give something back to the people that do the PayPal to me. Some people have sent silver to me in the mail, actual ounces of silver. They sent it in the mail. They've sent me money. They've sent me checks or money orders. I can take all that. I prefer PayPal. It's the easiest and fastest. And I've got a card, so if I need to get gas, I can use my PayPal credit card and do in and out, and everything's straight on that. Okay? So I got some contests coming up. Silver, for real? Yeah, I've had people mail me, they're 1 ounce silver bars. I've had a couple of guys send me 2 ounces. One guy sent 2 ounces, one guy sent 2 ounces, and another 2 or 3 people, I think it was 2 or 3. Anyway, they sent 1 ounces. Well, silver, right now is around $16.12 to $16.80. It's fluctuating. So say if they sent me one, you might just go ahead and say $17 with the mail. Yes, pushing will benefit the whole community. Yeah, Steve, you're right. OCT is pushing stuff that'll help the whole community. You're right. And C.J. Grisham, that cat's all right. And I'm telling you, he was self-defense fund and OCT, Open Carry Texas, and self-defense fund. And the cat's walking. You see what I'm saying? He went down and did the First Amendment. He did the Second Amendment, dealing with the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment at some point, possibly. I don't know that part. But the point is, he had a lot of constitutional things. I like trading silver. It's much easier than gold. Yeah, yeah, it is. You're right. I've traded silver and gold both, and I bartered. I've traded some silver for some watermelons, cantaloupes, tomatoes. You know, I've got a whole bushel thing for an ounce of silver because some of these farmers are doing this with some people. Self-defense fund has some issues that will most likely be exposed soon. What? Say that again. I can't. Let me see here. Let me get back on there. Self-defense fund. I'm not. I had to talk. I had to talk to you, Todd, tomorrow, the next day, and see what you're talking about. I'm. I'm personally. This is me personally. I'm not aware of anything. I'm not saying there is and there ain't, but to my knowledge, everything's been 100% totally legit. Now, I don't want to talk out of turn, but I do know one cat, and of course, back in my time, we used to call guys cats, you know, and women sometimes they used to call them birds. You know, a chick, hey chick, you know, chicks and cats. Then you was a boy and a girl. Then people got uptight and said, I ain't no boy, I got your boy. You know, I'm a real man. It was just ego, ego, ego. But anyway, so far as I know, there was one cat. I can't say nothing else. This is just, this is, I don't even want to say I come about this knowledge, but I want to say that there was one cat that was tangled up in some junk that was outside of the disclaimer. And I want to tell anybody and everybody, when you join OCT or you join Self-Defense Fund or you join your local cable company, look at the words. Are you a subscriber? Subscriber means something. Are you a member? It means something. Are you a first class member? Or do they give distinction in membership? Are you a voting member? Are you a non-voting member? What does membership give you? What's the benefit? Okay. Disclaimers. What are the disbenefits? How far are they going to go? You got to look for the glossary and look for what do these words mean, because these words can mean a lot of things, and that's one thing I teach you on here. Okay. There's a difference in misunderstanding the law and ignorance of it. Now, in today's day and time that they talk about, they pass so many laws, there's no way you or me can know what all the laws are. I've done this 40 years, and I probably only know half the laws. And, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to keep it real. I mean, I know all the basic stuff, but, you know, they put in all kind of stuff like at one time, because the city or the entity had an easement to your land, if we thought or we had any reason to believe you was tampering with a meter, we could walk onto your property without a warrant and go right up to your meter, which is attached to your freaking house or a pole. Okay? People say, I got no trespass. That includes police. Yeah, that's true, except you got an easement from the street to your house. So I can go on the easement up to the house with the power company's permission and their request to check this meter to see if it's been tampered with, okay? And if we see it's been tampered with, then the power company can come out and pull it till our investigation's over, or whatever they want to do, depends on what the law says. And if they sign a warrant, whoever the person in charge for that meter is, which is the husband or wife, usually the head of the house, whoever that happens to be, and that kind of changes for my day and time, and it's not strictly biblical anymore, which I don't like, but that's another subject for another time. But anyway, they're going to get the warrant for the husband or wife's arrest, and it depends on what state you live in. And depends on what that jurisdiction's interpretation of. You may have done $300 worth of quote electrical theft, or 800, or estimated 2,000, or whatever it is, and it may be a felony charge. So when you come out to say this and they sign the complaint, it may be me or some other cop taking you to jail for tampering with it. So easement to your property for utilities is an important thing to know. That's why a lot of people want to be off grid. They got their own self-contained sewer system, they got their own water catchment system, and they got solar power. So they don't need a dang thing from the city, county, or state. Okay? And some of them do homestead exemption, and maybe any other exemption they think they're entitled to, or they get a allodial title to the land, and they tell the police go packing. Or they get a warranty deed from the previous owner of a home, and the previous owner swears and attests that they have nothing else against the home. So you take that in a bill of sale. Well, you maybe go down to the records and you file the bill of sale as a legal, legitimate document. But in Texas, without the warranty deed, they can't charge the tax. So I've been told by tax attorneys and by other people that have done it. It pisses off the tax collector because they set up the system to do the warranty deed, because 98% of the people do it. You could even do it and not file it, but most of the thing is set up once they do it, they automatically file it. So you might as well have filed it. Then they're going to come after you. But if they go after the previous owner on the warranty deed, he says, I don't live there no more. He says, Mr. Jones bought my place. So they send somebody out to the house who owns this place. I'm not talking to you. You know, I have no duty to talk to nobody. So I'm not going to talk to you. I don't even know who you are. Get off my land. Get off this land. I'm in charge of this land any way you want to go about it. Okay? So the only way, and if you filed it as a legitimate record, then you've done it. But their system ain't set up that way. But there ain't no way to force you to do it. You got to understand the law, okay? And there are these cops, like I say, that think I'm anti-cop. And some of them, I've been with 20 or 25 years. I'm jumping around on things, but my mind keeps hopping around. And I tell them, I say, have you ever known me in my entire life not to back up an officer on the scene? I said, now you have seen me tell an officer that's wrong. We ain't going there. I won't authorize you to do it if I was their supervisor. I've said if you do this thing, I don't think it's legal at all. But I understand your point of view, and I understand where you say that you can. And in certain statutes, I actually could not stop them from arrest, but I could make sure that they went through the proper procedure. They read them their rights. They gave them a chance to remain silent. They transported them to the jail. I made sure they got there. They got there on time. Everything was, kosher. But them people would tell their attorney, hey, that other guy, they'd find out my name, he told this officer it was bad. And the very first thing they do, the state attorney would call and say, well, their attorney said you told the officer it's a bad arrest. I said, I did. They said, if you get subpoenaed to court, that's what you're going to say. I said, that's right, because I'd be under oath. I'd do it anyway. They say, well, we're going to have to drop the damn charge. And I said, well, I told the officer not to do it to begin with. But he wanted to tell me about, under statute so-and-so, you can't threaten me or intimidate me to drop the charge. That's right. You're correct. But I can give you your pink slip in the morning. That's not a threat. That's just if you ain't going to obey the law or not do it right, I can go that way. Or I can do this. The person still rode to jail, and I'm sorry that happened. But I did my best to get rid of bad officers, and I reported, and I wrote up reports on officers, okay? But I have never failed to back up an officer in my life. Sometimes when I get to something and it's already in the midst of it and there's violence going on, I have a positive duty to believe somebody that I know and work with, and I believe is an honest officer that's in a tussle with somebody, that I'm going to help them get the cuffs on and make the arrest. Okay? So I have never been anti-cop. Never, 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 never. Zero anti-cop. I am 100%, 100% pro peace officer, pro law enforcement officers. So long as you obey the national constitution and your state constitution, do not do anything repugnant to either one. Do not violate a man or woman's inalienable rights. Don't try and take your local policy or procedure that's in violation of one of these, and you know, or you should know it's in violation, and trying to enforce an unconstitutional code, unconstitutional statute, a policy, the way we do it around here. Don't try and impose that on me or nobody else. Or you'll be on my YouTube channel and somebody else's YouTube channel, or whatever other medias there are out there. Okay? So just keeping it real. That's the way it's going to be. Okay? So I am pro honest cop, 100%. I'm for honest government. But the audits, people say, well, you're baiting people. I'm not baiting people. I'm giving everybody an opportunity to do the right thing on the electronic record. Okay, I'm recording, I'm live, or I'm recording. That is my record of my encounter with my public servant out in the street, out in the field, at their office, wherever it happens to be. They're in the scope of their employment. I'm recording them in the scope. That is my record of events. If you act like a movie star, you will come off as a movie star. If you act like you're a piece of garbage, you will come off as a piece of garbage. Now, why do some police officers appear to have a chip on their shoulder and appear to be a bully? Their mama or their daddy or their grandparents or somebody raised them up, more likely than not, and I've seen this, were bullied as children. So therefore they grew up to become bullies. Just like if you had parents or grandparents, people raised you, alcoholics, drug addicts, you grew up the same way. Okay? So I'm saying the people that were bullied, some of them pull themselves up by the bootstrap and become a straight guy or gal out there in uniform. Okay? I know some. Okay? They lived in horrible, broken homes. But some of them transfer those lack of life skills and bad behavior, conduct out onto the streets, and they're using that badge and this gun in the wrong way. And they're violating your rights. Okay, sometimes you got a good cop. I mean, the best of the best. I would consider myself in the top 3% of cops that ever put on a uniform in this country. That's how much I think of myself. Now, I know it's a pat on the back, but I've had a lot of officers tell me that, you're a cop's cop. And that's true. But I'm not a blue jean cop that does favors for people. I mean, I'm just straight. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But I told everybody up front, so my disclaimer to all cops was, if I see you do wrong, I will report you doing wrong. If I see you doing good, I report good. I just report what I see. Okay? If it's a gray area, I'll say it's a gray area. I disagree, but I see your point, and it could be taken either way. So do what you're going to do, okay? I get it. You get it, okay? So some are bullied. Some have been on the job a long time, and they've seen the river of trash come down, and they've been contaminated, and they are now an alcoholic or a drug abuser, or they're in some kind of abusive situation. And when they leave home, they take all of that frustration and anger to the job. Okay, we were taught and trained that when you put on your Batman suit, you had to leave your home behind. That don't mean forget nobody, but you had to cut off your personal, private life, go to work. You had to have a neutral or better attitude in general. And when you spoke to a man or woman in the public, you addressed them as sir, ma'am. You was polite, you was friendly, you do not use profanity. You do not threaten people. You do not hurt them. You do not harass them. You do your job, and your job is to keep the peace and tranquility of the community. This is how I started out training. Now, over time, it's changed, and it's not so much that way. Now, I'm sure there's places it is, but so a lot of places I have, their attitude has greatly changed. And on 9/11, uh, it was like the law enforcement had a major heart attack and come back from the dead. Some come back and was stronger and better than ever. Some got this mentality that they was military police and we're all on a military reservation and they're going to affect the military code of justice on us instead of civilian justice because they become militarized. Okay, I was against it when it started happening. I was offered lots and lots of freebies as a chief for me personally, as well as my department. And when I say me personally, that's not exactly the way it comes out. So somebody would probably correct me in law enforcement and say, he lied, that's not true. Okay, well, here's the deal. You're the chief of police, and let's just say you got some military surplus and they got some fully automatic weapons. And they have ruled them for their useful life as far as the military is concerned, but still operational for civilian law enforcement. And they give you 2 or 3 or 5, depends on the size of your department. They don't figure, you need 400 or nothing. But anyway, the point is, you get one of them and you assign it to yourself. Okay? So it becomes your weapon. How do you keep that weapon? You get the head of the government agency, whether that's the mayor, the county president, the whomever, to sign off that your service weapons with an S, pistol, revolver, shotgun, AR-15, M16, is transferred from the city to you at your honorable retirement or resignation with 5 years or more service or whatever. So it becomes legal. Not lawful, but it's legal. And there's a difference. Anyway, I want y'all to talk to me about what you think about this Wicked Development radio network. I'm excited. And tell me if you believe in it and if you want me to go that route, which I'm planning on going it. I just want to know, I guess, how much cheerleaders I have behind me to do it. The second thing is, I want to know how many of y'all are going to go to Self-Defense Fund and at least look at it, okay? At least look at it. Give it a good review. Go over to Open Carry Texas. I know they got a Facebook page. Then they got a donate thing where you can just donate. If you just say, hey, I believe in the cause and I want to send them 25 or 50 bucks or $10 or 5 or whatever to help, then just send it. Be one time. But if you can, do it monthly and help the cause. Okay? So, right now it's naming or possibly renaming my channel. I may do it, I might not do it. I might do it for a day or for a week or something and test it out. But if you come up with the best name and you want to become a member of Self-Defense Fund for a husband or husband and wife, they got something for a one person or you and your spouse or for a family. So whether it's an individual, a couple, or a family, I'll go 3 months out of my pocket if you come up with the best name. And even if I don't use it, I'm still going to pick somebody if you want to do that and want the self-defense fund. You may pick it and say, I don't want the self-defense fund. That's fine. But if you do, I'm there. Okay? And I'm going to do something probably in a month or two to give away some silver. Some actual .999 fine silver. Okay? And I got a couple guys that will help me with some funds to do some giveaways in the future. Probably 2 months, 3 months down the road, I got some people that are going to help me to give away some prizes just because I love you, I love you, I love you. Okay? I thank y'all. I've probably gone too long here, but these are things I want to talk about. If you believe in me and you want me to go on the audits in Texas maybe some in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Uh, I can do that over a week's period of time. Mainly in Texas, but I can stop in some of these other places and do some audits. If you believe in it, help me out, okay? And I don't have all the links in there now, but I will have the links in there here pretty soon. Thank you and God bless you. If anybody's got a question, I'm going to look and give it a minute here and see if anybody's got a question. That says Chief. That's me, Chief. Does anybody got a question? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I guess there are no questions. So I will say, wait a minute. Did that freeze up? Holy God. You know, I did a stupid thing. My thing froze up and I didn't know it. God bless you, brother. Thank you. I have not seen it. Flushed. No sound. Who said no sound? You can't hear me? You should see my questions. Okay. That's where it got stuck. I'm sorry. Hey, to everybody, I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. We can hear you. Boomer. Boomer! Okay. I'm sorry. I had to see a question that XDSA Press was telling me, and when I hit it, it made it stop, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't rolling. I'm so sorry. I am very, very sorry. Where you been, big man? Taking care of my family and paying bills. Slim? You call me big man, I call you Slim. You could be Slim, and that would be true. And if you're a fat boy like me, then calling you Slim, I guess that would fit too. I tried to bow out my hat. My dad was in the Marines, and they used to take these things and they would get them and they would make it pop up in the top, and then come off and square it off. And see how it rises way up high up here for them high and tight haircuts. Let's see. Somebody just sent me something in there. Who was that? Roscoe Show. If you want to help. Yep, that's right. I'm a big boy too. Okay. Big boys with big toys to help the people. Do you believe getting more police on board during audits or other departments should, see what that say, should be a number one priority? Yeah. Look, they used to get some detectives and chiefs that was retired to volunteer to do cold cases on murders and rapes, but mainly murders. Uh, I would like to get some honest cops that got at least 5 years under your belt. No disrespect if you got 1 year, 2 years. Okay, we all had to start out somewhere, but I'm just saying, in my day and time, once you had 5 years, you were usually considered seasoned, a seasoned officer, and you had been around the rodeo a few times, been thrown down, been to the chief's office. You know, thank you, Indiana. Uh, you had been chewed out and pats on the back, sometimes for the same dang event, because the mayor hated your guts and the chief of police thought you did a great job. So one of them told you, you know, you might not be around here, and the other one said, we'll probably get you promoted next week. Confusing to the officer. So all the headaches and heartaches, all the accolades and all the criticism and funk talk you could talk about an officer, it's all happened to me. Okay? On Monday or Tuesday, I was riding high, everybody's behind me. On Friday, somebody told me I was a jerk. Yada, yada, yada. So, remember, if you go to Walmart, and I say Walmart, and I'm just using it genetically, it could be the local convenience store. But if you go there and say, I don't know, say they got somebody that's doing private security there, and they're great or they're a jerk, okay, and I don't know. I guess I'm trying to tell you, it don't matter if you work on the trash truck, you work at Walmart, you work at the bank, you work at the police, you're a man or woman. Sometimes people bring their home to the job. Sometimes they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they're undereducated. Sometimes they're overeducated for the job they're doing, or they're not properly educated. So there's a mix, a mash, something ain't meeting right. Okay, so you know, you get officers. I've had bad days. Okay, I mean, I'm a human being, and not the way the dictionary says a monster in corporate talk, but a man made in the image of God. I'm a man. Okay, I've had, hi mouse. Uh, I've had stomach problems. Okay, let me tell you what. It takes a lot to get out of a uniform to go use the toilet. You got to do it number two, just keeping it clean, ad friendly. Even though they ain't doing no ads, they should have been. But I've been on hold for 2 months at YouTube, and I don't know why I'm on hold at YouTube. No idea. I ain't doing nothing stupid over here. Just free speech and blah blah blah. Mouse, right on mouse. Anyway, I really think and I really believe that if you would just take a minute and think, the officer could be having a migraine headache. He could be having stomach cramps, or she. They could have had back surgery and just come back to work. They could have neuropathy. I think I've said it right. From they're diabetic and they got nerve pain in their feet, and they're all knotted up, and they're in a bad way. So if they was home, they'd be talking cross-eyed at their kids or their husband or wife. You know, it doesn't matter where they are. But, it's the but, they got a badge that says they're in charge and they're going to be making little bitty tiny, almost nothing decisions to life and death decisions. And they're going to carry it out by their presence, their voice, their demeanor, and their gun if necessary, or their taser, or whatever. Okay? So, some have an ego and their head is like this big. And if you interfere with their ego, which is in their deep psyche, you could get hurt or killed. That's just a fact. Okay? Now, let's see. I believe in what I call the neutral auditing. You should not do things that you wouldn't want done to yourself. Okay? Now, there are some people, they don't care what people do where they're concerned. Okay? But I'm saying use a middle of the road approach. Where, say if I go in a police station and I'm looking around, I might not immediately say nothing. But I might not just be sitting there at the window with the camera up at the window like this continually. If an auditor does that, that's their business. It's just not the way I want to go. Well, what's the notice the cop follow the law if I'm not positive I understand the questions. I think you're saying, if you give notice to a cop. Well, if you give verbal or written notice to a cop, he can take it or refuse it. But you still gave it, so you still did your part. So your good faith, your honesty, your integrity still carries through. Say you done everything right, and he or she still arrested you and still took you down to the can, okay? And you get arraigned and you get bailed out, then that's when you get to have your attorney, or if you're pro se, you get to go in and show your good faith. Show that you tried to give them something in writing and present that to the court and get it a part of the record. You may very well get the case dismissed, especially because if you're pro se, you can go straight to the district attorney and say, look, I gave this to the police, and it's all the disclaimers and all the notices, and they're all legit, and he refused, or he spit on it, or told me, flipped me around and put me in jail. His ego was bruised, he was hurt, he was hostile, he had a bad attitude, or she, whatever, and they may bring that officer in and talk to him and say, hey, these charges are going away. Okay? Now, you still got the right to file a lawsuit on them. Okay? But some of them want to go in this thing where, well, we're going to drop the charge, but we want you to agree that in agreement for us dropping the charge, you're going to drop the civil case. No. No, I'm not. And by the way, I'm not a bar card attorney, so I don't have to play by none of your rules. So when this does go to court, if it goes to court, I'm going to make that a part of the record that the jury knows that you was willing to drop this case, which meant there was nothing there that was wrong, or you wouldn't drop it. And you offered that you would give that so long as I wouldn't civilly sue this office or the police, or a combination, in your private capacity and your professional capacity, or one or the other. So it's almost like you tried to bribe me not to follow through. Okay? So you got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them. Mr. Kenny Rogers used to sing that. My dad used to tell me, basically, you need to know when to hold them, need to know when to fold them. My dad said, you need to look in a man's eyes, listen to his voice, watch his hands, watch his body, his whole demeanor. See if he's trying to help you, but he's in a jam. And if he is in a jam, maybe you can unjam him by offering some leeway here, that was too much and I couldn't read. Sorry. Gosh, y'all. I like y'all to be able to talk and get around, and I like to help the audit community because it's testing the system. Whether it's a post office, the state's attorney or district attorney, or tax collector's office. Tax collectors really freak out when you try and audit them. I haven't been to a tax collector's office, but I know some people that's planning on going to a tax collector's office and property assessor's office to ask them about some of these laws that are on their face value are totally unconstitutional. The tax code in some of these states are totally wrong. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, if you can join Self-Defense Fund and they can help me out, that helps me out. If you can do my PayPal, that helps me out. If you got a Walmart gift card and want to send that, that's fine. If you want to send a check or a money order, cashier's check, that's fine. If you want to send silver or gold, that's fine. And y'all you know who you are. Some of you said, don't mention my name. And it's because you're an active duty military or active duty police officer, or you're an elected sheriff or constable, or you're running for one of these offices and you know me and you know me well and you believe in what I do, but you just can't come out and say it in public. So you count on me to do it. And again, I am 100% pro-peace officer, pro-law enforcement, so long as you obey your oath and you obey the Constitution and you don't jam the people up and you learn and know the law. And what you get in the academy, that's just enough to scrape by. Just enough to scrape by. Okay? That is the very minimum of your education. So what you need to do is you learn from your trainer if you have one. If you're fortunate enough, a lot of little departments don't have a trainer. You spend 0 to 2 or 3 days riding with another deputy or another officer. They don't even have a FTO, field training officer. You got nothing. Okay? You need to learn the attitude of your area. Okay? In some places around Jersey I've been, if a cop went on the streets and he didn't cuss like a sailor, the people in the community would wonder if he was a man or a punk. He would get tried and he would be put in life and death decisions all the time. Okay? It's an accepted form of expression there. So the police cuss like dogs. Now, there's other places in New Jersey that's not true. Okay? So they will use the community standard. That's why when some police get over in Section 8 house in the projects, they act like, I don't know, they get into a lot of bad behavior because they say we're dealing with low-end people. Well, sometimes that's me that lives there or somebody like me that lives there that don't break the law and don't do nothing wrong, and you come up with a bad attitude on me. So you're judging the book by the cover or the area. But you have to have some kind of community standard throughout your whole city or county. What is considered acceptable in this area? So I would be at least neutral or better. Yeah, love y'all too, and thank you for the love. I really, 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 really totally believe the officers in your area, and I've said this before, and some people say, don't call the police unless you want to go to jail. Well, that does happen, okay? Because sometimes police make very serious mistakes, and sometimes they're just mean. Sometimes uh, you call the police, but you're actually a criminal. So sometimes they're justified to arrest you. Sometimes they're not. Okay? If people make a mistake down at the sawmill and cut the boards too short or too long, it's not that big a deal. But when you're placing handcuffs and put in the back of the car and your name comes out in the newspaper, you was arrested for this or that, it could cost you your job. You could lose your home. It's real serious. The police are held to a very, very high standard in society. Okay? And the people that are the police can do no wrong, that is either the parents, grandparents, and family of a good man that's a really good cop, and they base everything on him. So they think he can do no wrong, they can do no wrong, and they just don't see it. Okay? It's like the golden son or the golden daughter. Okay? And then some people have been down the joint 2 times and they know they were wrong. They knew they raped somebody. They know they murdered somebody. They know they're a burglar. Just like old Jonathan Henry Spill. He'd been down the joint too many times to count in 35 years, okay? If John Henry Spill calls the police, there's a good chance there might be a warrant for him. You never know. I mean, he's the lifelong criminal. So that's just, just keeping it real. I mean, that's a public record. It's like a public announcement, safety announcement. Stay away from Jonathan Henry Spill, who calls himself John Masters. He's just a bad man, okay, and his moral compass is broken, in my opinion, based on facts, based on personal experience. Okay, it's beyond opinion. Okay, I actually have hard, cold evidence. Some things that some police don't get, I get. I just, I learned that your attitude has a lot to do with it. I have been stopped by police at various times. I don't go to the, I'm a cop, here's my badge. Never, never, never done that. Not even when I was stopped for driving while black in Tallahassee. Yes, that did happen to me. I was stopped for driving while black. Uh, and I was a deputy sheriff at the time. It was quite interesting. Very, very interesting. I forget, I had so much stuff to happen to me, I forgot all these damn cocktails over the years. It's just crazy. But I had an old cop car, an older models like 10 years, 9 or 10 years old, and a guy had got it, and I don't know if he was a hood rat or what he still was, but anyway, he had painted it kind of a purplish color, not a neon shine, but kind of a purplish color, and had some white walls on it. And I didn't have enough money to buy the car and do the white walls, but he had taken good care of the mechanics, and actually another cop had bought it from him or somebody else. And he used it for a few months until he could do better or however long. And then I needed it and I bought it. Okay? I didn't make the best money in the world sometimes as a cop, just making ends meet. But, I was an honest cop. I mean, I signed on for the job and I took what they gave and that was it. And, but at this particular time, I had just joined the sheriff's office, and I had gone by to see some people I knew that worked security. Well, there were some black guys that worked security. I used to be in charge of a security firm over there, and there were some black guys that was working this one parking lot district area, and the police were watching these parking lots real close. Well, my windows were dark tinted, and that looked like a hood car in our area, okay? And so they see this guy talking to these black security guards. So both of them said, "Hey, Jones, don't let it happen." I said, "What? You know you fixing to get fooled for driving while black. You see TPD over there, and when you pull out, they gonna mess around and okie dokie you." I said, "It might be." I pulled out, blinkers on, every single thing. Went down a good ways, made a U-turn. They followed me down. They made a U-turn. They got up. They read my tag. They got up beside me and was trying to look in and see me. I could see them. I mean, they had slightly tinted windows, and it's night, but I could still kind of see through there with night lights. It was a lit up area, not too far from the state capitol. And they were trying to see me. And eventually, one of them pulled behind me and pulled me over. And because I had these things that come down this far around the window, I did my window down where he couldn't exactly see me. And when he come up to the window, I did it down just barely, and I said, "Yo, what's up, man? What's up?" And he said, "Need to see your driver's license." I said, what I did wrong? What I did wrong?" And he says, "We just kind of weaving lane." "No, I wasn't. You lying on me." Anyway, I left the window down, and I said, and he sees in there because I had been working in another department. I had my police radio in there. I had my shotgun mount. I still had my old stuff in the car. I hadn't taken it out yet. And he said, "What are you doing all this in here?" I said, "What do you think I'm doing with it? I'm a deputy sheriff here, and I just left the chief of police job I retired from. And I had all this equipment in my car." I said, "I still got lights and siren in here." And I popped the siren. I said, "See?" Oh. And I said, "You lying on me. You lying." I said, "Your racial profile, I just want you to know." I said, and I'm going to make a big deal out of it. Okay? So I went down and I talked to the chief of police. Sure did. Anyway, he said, "You can make a formal complaint if you want to." Now, normally these guys are good, but, there's I don't know. They're trying to say something different than you're saying, but what you're saying in your circumstances, I believe what you're saying is more likely than what they're saying. But he said there ain't no way really to build a case out of it, and they're members of PBA. He said, but I guarantee that their captain will talk to their lieutenant, who will talk to their sergeant, and by the time it gets to them, there ain't going to be much of their ass left. And if there was racial profiling, I think that's going to bring an end to it. And if it don't, because this was you're using this instead of a complaint, you're using this as a notice to the chief. And he said, so if it happens again, we'll use it as evidence against them as a pattern. And if they are, we'll get them. So, you know, but then there was all kind of cops in Tallahassee that's bending over backwards for people all the time. I seen it. Okay, so I dealt with two bad cops, and there was another cop in Tallahassee I had a bad time with, he just a butthole. Okay, so I know three officers that I just really had a bad time with, but the other 100 or 200 I dealt with over time, they were fantastic. They were really good. They were liberal to a point. They was a little political, but not real bad political. And they tried to separate trash from reality. And they tried to do good. So I'd have to give them an overall 90% plus rating. Every department you go to, they're going to have some guys that are just trash. It's just almost always. And when I say trash, they're still a man or a woman, but they have a bad attitude in life. They have been through divorces or going through them, and they just having a really bad time. Let's see. Yeah. And some cops got this mentality: I'll never testify against another cop. I'll never turn in another cop. I understand where that mentality comes from, because a lot of people at different times, different places used to rely on police and uh, or say things that was exaggerated, and police in some places got a bad name. There's all kind of reasons. Some cops were afraid other cops might turn on them and accidentally kill them on purpose or hurt their family. So some did out of fear. So no matter who you put on the police force, there's no perfect man and no perfect woman. So if it's an honest mistake, it is. But then there's some that's buttholes, and then some of them that's got deep psychological problems that shouldn't be there to begin with. And then you got a lot of great cops that, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, every situation you'd come into them, you'd say, hey, that's a great cop. You know, I wouldn't mind that guy living next door. I wouldn't mind playing football or soccer with him or her, you know. Uh, but then you happen to catch him or her on the wrong day, and they're in a deep psychological trauma that's happened somewhere in their family, somewhere in their private life, and they come to work, and it's like, hey, I don't know you. I've seen that happen to cops. I've seen it on people in other jobs. So I'm saying, being a cop and being a truck driver, being an electrician, plumber, you got good people and bad people. It doesn't matter what job it is. Okay? But there are some that's got big, gigantic attitudes, and they're an alpha male. Okay? A lot of them's been to war zones, and they've been on the brink of death. And they engage in risky behavior, uh, big, huge, gigantic personalities. You know, we work hard, we play harder. You know, Mr. Athlete guy that's juiced up and has arms about as big around as my head. Uh, you know, so you're gonna get good cops and bad cops, same department. You could get good cops that's having a bad day. You could get a bad cop, an asshole cop, one that one that's just a real jerk, and even all the cops around say, I hate that guy, I hate that guy, he ain't got no business being a cop. And he could come to work one day and be the nicest guy you ever seen, get into some kind of altercation, and the people wind up writing this great letter to the chief of police or city council about how great this cop was. And he winds up getting promoted to a corporal or sergeant. And he's a jerk, and he shouldn't even be a cop. Things like that happen. Happens every day in their life. The difference in the police are, they're the only people that can shoot you and kill you as part of their job. They're the only people that can put handcuffs on you and take away your liberty and put you in the jail, or in prison. Okay? So, when people make mistakes at other jobs, it ain't that big a deal. When the police deal with it, it's a big deal, because even if you win, your name might be in the newspaper, you might lose work, you might lose money to pay your bills, you might get put out on the street, lose your home or car, you might not can pay child support. A bunch of bad things happen when you get arrested. Okay? And nobody else can do that but them. So that's why they're supposed to be mentally and physically checked. But some states don't have no psychological requirements. Okay? You would think that would be the top of their damn brain. I went to an academy with a guy that during the academy, he had an accidental discharge of his weapon. Okay? That would be at least a yellow flag. Now, accidents happen, and because your cop doesn't immune you from mistakes. But that should have been a flag. And he had been in the military. And if they had done a little more checking, he had some accidental discharges while he was in the military. So I'm told. He was working at a neighboring jurisdiction. And while on duty, in his patrol car, when he wasn't getting no calls, not just any weapon, not a secondary weapon, but his service weapon, he was taking it apart and cleaning it, per his saying, and he shot himself in the ass. Okay? Workers' comp, some limited disability, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I've been on here forever and a day. So y'all know everything I've said, and if y'all want to take me up on the free membership for 3 months at Self-Defense Fund and you want to do what I said, okay. My next contest will be for some colloidal silver. You can look that up, colloidal silver, all the health benefits. And then I'll actually give away some free silver on down the road. You know, I try and do something at least every month where I got 12 prizes of some sort coming out. And if you can help me with my PayPal to get to Texas and do some more audits, I'll do them. If you can't, then I can't. It's just as simple as that. You know, if you're like, hey, we can live without you going and doing audits, okie dokie. If you say, wait a minute now we want you, then sponsor me. Give the donation where I can go. It's up to you. Give out your PayPal before you leave. Okay. Daymond, DAYMOND 4040 at yahoo.com. It's all small case. Somebody did it in big letters, and I understand that so you can read it better, but it's all small case. I guess PayPal knows the difference. I don't know. It's never come up before. And in my descriptions, I usually have it. Now, what I'm telling you is, I love y'all. I pray in the name and blood of Jesus to protect all of y'all and all the auditors out there. Auditors make mistakes too. If there's some audits I've done, if I could have done it differently in hindsight, if I could reverse, there's some audits I would have approached a little slower, a little faster. I'd have used some different verbiage. When I look back at the video, I look at my videos and I go back through them all the time, and sometimes somebody will say something to me on an email, call me on the phone, and I'll say, look, let's keep it straight. How do you really feel about this, and what are you thinking? And they're saying, well, this is the way I would have done it. And I looked at it and said, yeah, you know, you're right. So if I do wrong, I do wrong. You know, and not everybody, you know, on here is a Christian and believes like I do, because they just don't. They believe in the world, or they believe in Buddha, or they believe in Allah, or they believe in a sacred cow, or something else. That's their freedom of religion. Welcome to the United States of America. And when I was a peace officer, I made sure everybody's religious freedoms was protected. And I would give my life to protect their religious freedoms, so long as they wasn't trying to use it to hurt me or hurt another. Okay? I made sure they had their freedom of speech, their right to remain silent, every single thing. But me, since it's my channel, I do what I want to. So I'm going to take off my hat and say, Lord God, bless all these people that's on here and all the people that's come on here. Bless them, help them, aid them, assist them, and strengthen them in their life today and every day. Please bless me and my wife, our marriage and our home, our son. Please take care of our dogs. They're a great comfort to us. Please lead us and guide us. Help this nation to stay together. Help the police to treat the people together and treat the people the way they should be treated. And help the people then to gain some confidence in police like they once had when the police treated people different. Let the police go back to the way they used to treat people, that we can have confidence in them where they don't kill so many people. And that so many people don't feel outraged and kill the police. This killing is just totally unnecessary. All this gang banging is unnecessary. Help us, Lord Jesus. In your name and in your blood, I seal it, believe it, stand on it, pray for it. Amen. Well, y'all saw my bald head and you seen my capped head. Amen, 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 amen. Yea, God, amen. All right, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the Lord Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Yep. Hey, I don't know if y'all know Jimmy Miller, the evangelist. He's got Trumpet of Truth Ministries, and he's in Trumpet of Truth Ministries. That's his channel name. He's on in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's a street preacher. He's incredible. He's just incredible. He's like a bulldog for Jesus. But he's common sense logic. Anyway, during my travels, I'm going to do my best to hook up with him and do a little street preaching with him, because that's part of who I am. If you ain't, that's okay. That's your business. That's between you and God or whatever. But I preached in churches, and I have preached on the street. It's been a long time, but I need to get back to it. Do what helps you. You know, like Mr. P&P, he's got the aquariums and the fish. He's an aquarium man, and that brings him happiness. Teaching people the law and enforcement and the Constitution and freedoms. This helps me, and I believe in it because I believe it comes from God. And preaching and teaching God and being saved, that's part of me. Anyway, don't forget self-defense fund. Don't forget, don't forget the Bill of Rights. Don't forget Open Carry Texas. I do believe Jesus is for audits. Yes, because he wants you to have accountable servants. Okay? You know, what would Jesus do? Yep. Uh, uh, anyway, I just can't seem to stop. It seems like I just got too much in me. Just keep trying to jump out, jump out, jump out. I will try and give y'all an update Monday evening as to if I believe I have enough funds, or I'm close to it, or I'm too far away to make the trip and do the audits. I'll try and give y'all a heads up on Monday evening. I might just do a 1-minute video heads up, PayPal audit info or whatever. That way y'all will know if I'm going and what to expect and not. I don't want to say what cities and what I'm trying to do, because if I do, then they gear up ahead of me and they put on their best behavior and they tell their guys, well, here's the law on this, and do this and do this and do this. This guy has credentials, and if you screw around with him, we're going to turn into a national news story, and it's probably going to be the end of your police career if you screw around with this guy. Plus, this guy knows a lot of people in federal ABC agencies that love this guy. He knows a lot of state and federal judges. He knows a lot of sheriffs and constables across the country that believe in him. They might not be out front, but they're behind the scenes and they'll make phone calls. And he knows congressmen and senators and stuff that he would not say they're in his pocket because he don't believe that way. But he can make phone calls and he can make things happen. Don't mess with him. That ought to be how it is for every single person that's a bias for or against somebody, or they could cause too much trouble. Just don't mess with them. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about all of y'all. I want the police and the government to let you alone. Okay? I want to be let alone. If I owe a bill, I'll pay it. If I'm paying into the community's treasury with a tax bill, a tax assessment to the good for the people, and it's fair and it's honest, and it's not waste, fraud, and abuse in the system, I understand that and I'm okay with that. I mean, our government servants can't work for free, but they don't need a $1 million retirement neither. I mean, come on. Where else do you get that? See, the government's logic is, well, if we pay good salaries and we give raises, we can get the best of the best. You're never going to get that. The best of the best work for private corporations as tax accountants, attorneys, they're doctors, they're plumbers, they're computer gurus, they're marketing directors, yada, yada, yada. Okay, people that know how to do stuff and have high-end skills, they're usually over there because they get better benefits and they're in a private corporation. Yeah, you do get good people in government sometimes because they just have a good heart and want to serve. But paying a big paycheck ain't that all of it. It's all. My wife keeps telling me it's time to eat, it's time to eat, it's time to eat. And probably my sugar's dropping. You know, it's one of my health issues. My sugar can go up, it can go down. So I got to keep my sugar in the right place so I can be a healthy man. I do okay, but you know, everybody's got something. Sometimes people got migraine headaches. Some people's got sugar issues. They go up and down. Some people's got high blood pressure. Some people's got heart problems. But we prayed for all of y'all, so we're looking for a good outcome. So I'm waving bye. Bye to all the people. God bless all of you. God bless all of you. Where do we draw the line and stick it for our rights? I take a middle of the road approach. And I take the bottom step in the middle of the road, so to speak. If the other side escalates, I still try and keep it in the same place. The harder they try and escalate, the harder I try to de-escalate. The further they try and get off the railroad tracks and leave the reservation planet Earth, the more gravity I try and bring to things. Because one, I might win. I think I might just win. The second thing, you're never too late. You can go back and watch it. It'll take a little while to load because it's like an hour and a half, but you can watch the whole thing. And I thank you for coming over. When they try and get off the ground, I try and put more gravity in my feet. I put more gravity in my words. I try and look the officer or the government official or the private business. I try and look them in the eye. I try and show them the countenance of my face like God talks about. I try and make my face, my words, my posture good, friendly, acceptable, but firm, and stand my ground. And if I win there, I win there, and that's great. If I don't win there and I get arrested, which hasn't happened, but let's just say it does, then I'm going to listen to the orders, even though they're not lawful, because I'm not going to get in that kind of situation. They wouldn't be lawful, but I'm going to wait to the right day and the right time and the right place because they could be in a bad mood. They could be off their meds. And there's a lot of police and a lot of correctional officers that take psychotropic medications. I know for a fact. I've seen them take them. I've heard them talk about it. But that's throughout all of society, okay? And I think I got a better chance the following that evening or the following morning of having a middle of the road arraignment and trying to do whatever I want to do. And there's a good chance I would go pro se. There's a good chance, depending on what it was, if it's a self defense fund matter, I'm going to call my toll free number and get my junkyard dog attorney on the case for me, okay? But if it's something with me personally, private, something, whatever it is, then I'm probably going to say, look at it like this, okay? I'm going to plea, I'm going to plea, I'm going to make a plea and abatement. They tell you can plead guilty or innocent. They say enter plea, say, I don't authorize you, judge, I guess that's your title, I don't authorize you, judge, to enter any plea whatsoever. If you do it, you do it without my consent. Or I say I don't authorize you to enter any plea other than what I make in my own words or in my own writing right now, right here. And I'm making a plea and abatement. Because the plea and abatement says you're going to go over their papers and effects and things to to make sure you had due process of service. So you don't get to enter a plea of guilty, innocence, or nolo contendere till your plea and abatement. They never tell you can plea and abatement, but you can because you're challenging the actual process that got you to that point before the judge. So you don't even have to make a plea until that's resolved. So to their papers, if their papers are in arrays, their statute doesn't follow the Constitution, it wasn't done properly, yada yada yada, then the case has to be dismissed judicially. So, okay, I'm exhausted. See, I had a hat way back there, and that's in 91 or 92. That was down in Florida. I had, matter of fact, I think that's a hat I brought from Texas. Or maybe I made a trip back and got it. But I have a habit of hanging on to cowboy hats for 5, 10, 15 years. I've wound up with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them at the same time. Good show, Chief. Thank you. Yes, okay, this is an hour and 42 minutes. My God, I can talk. But that's what it takes to be a radio show talk host, to show you got stamina. I haven't taken no commercial breaks. There ain't no commercials. I was talking the commercial. If you have something you want to sell, a product or something you believe in, and realize it myself, then I can come over here and talk about it to the people and let them know. Okay, I ain't trying to get no bunch of businesses going. I'm just saying if you have something, you know, and may even go live Monday evening or Tuesday morning, one or the other, to tell people where I am and give people a chance to say something. But I'll at least give you a heads up, no matter what. No matter what. Okay? And I want to thank Andy Valadez. Again, thank Andy Valadez, the marketing director at Self Defense Fund, for uh, helping get me the shirt, the hat, uh, get me my links. I know that's his job, but he takes his job very serious and he does an over the top job. And I want to thank the national director. I've talked to him. I believe we're like minded in one accord, and we're both Christian men, and we both believe in the Constitution. And Self Defense Fund is veteran owned and operated. Owned and operated. by a U.S. military veteran. Mr. Valadez, he's a vet also, and we support a lot of vet causes. So, anyway, if y'all got anything to type to each other, because I know y'all are talking to each other. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to give y'all another 30 seconds. I'm going to cut it off. I'm counting silently in my head. Power to the people. Power to the people. The people to Jesus. Right on. Far out and groovy gravy, baby. Thank uh, Dick and Roscoe Show. Dick and Roscoe Show. Go check out Dick and Roscoe Show. They are cool. Check out Wicked Development. Let's see. Wicked Development. Wicked. Let's see. What? Give me a second. Wicked Development Radio Network. RD. Hell, there it is. WDRN. 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 Go check them out on YouTube. Check out the Dick and Roscoe Show too. Okay? I am going to succeed, and I am going to have a call-in talk radio show. This has been a gigantic desire of mine since 2012. But everything in the world seemed to be going on one way or another. I love to talk to people. I love to teach people. And I don't care if y'all want to talk about Bigfoot. Let's rock. You want to talk about UFOs? It's cool. You remember old Art Bell? He had the Art Bell show and eventually become Coast to Coast with Art Bell, and then it got George Knapp and George Norrie and what's his name? That's got his own radio talk show now. Uh, Mouse in the Morning. Yeah. Uh, but if y'all want to talk about alternative theories, religious viewpoints, politics, cops and robbers, I am been blessed by the Lord to have a general knowledge of many subjects. In dealing in law enforcement, I had to deal with a lot of nutty folks, or way different than most folks, however you want to look at it. So I'm talking about anything you want to talk about. So if you talk about you saw the UFO, let's talk about it. If you talk about you seen somebody or something disembark, let's talk about it. You know, if you want to talk about the Mothman prophecies, we can talk about it. If you want to talk about a Ouija board, I say stay away from them things that's evil and from Satan. But if you want to talk about an experience or something, that's okay. I can tell you about some Satanists that turned holy ghost people, make your hair stand up on the back of your neck. How about Bilderbergs? Yeah, we can talk about the Trilateral Commission. We can talk about the Foreign Relations Commission. We can talk about Alex Jones. They tell me he's my cousin. I think they're right, but I don't know. But Alex is on his own thing. I think Alex Jones is right on some things and maybe not right on some things. And he's doing his own thing, and I think he's done a lot of good things, and I think he's right in some things, and some things I'm not so certain about, you know. But that's his show, and so he gets to do what he wants to, and if you like it, you turn it on. That's freedom. Welcome to America, baby. What would Chief Jones do? I talk about anything. It doesn't matter. Some people talk about Jesus wants you to give up. Jesus wants you to be a doormat. Jesus wants you just to take it. Well, look, Jesus said also, if you did not have a sword, take your coat, sell it, and buy one. People forget that. People like cherry pick the scriptures. Read the whole Bible, cover to cover. Use some common sense, logic, reasoning, spiritual discernment, pray, maybe even fast and pray, and be born again and baptized. Okay? Maybe you'll get it then. But I'm saying, Jesus is trying to tell you there's a time and place under the sun for all things. There's a time to be very meek and humble. Okay, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. And there's a time to say, I have my sword, and if you come at me, I'm going to run it through you. Okay? And I will be righteous anger to protect myself and my family. So whether it's my sword or my gun, I will protect myself. Man, I just can't stop. I'm going to have me I told people I need a 2-hour show. I may wind up with a 4-hour show. You just can't tell. There ain't no telling with me. You know what I'm saying? There just ain't no telling. I thank God for y'all, I really do. That's a left-handed salute to the leftists and the people on the left coast that's out of their mind. But thank God there's some people in their right mind out on the left coast that are still saying, we're not going to have no sanctuary cities. Now, you got to protect people's civil liberties and uphold the law, and you can do both. But I salute America's veterans. I salute my father for his service to our country. Not just the military, but taking care of our family and being productive in society and teaching me to do so also. I salute the veteran-owned businesses. I salute our military for keeping us safe. I salute every good and honest judge, every good and honest cop that obey the Constitution, their oath of office, and take care of the people. I give you a very high salute. I give a salute to the people that help me, and I'm able to help them. So I'm giving a big salute to y'all. God bless you. Bye.